Hey everybody, it's Scott with another tool thought. It's been a while since I've posted. I've been crazy busy. Uh, just thought I'd better throw some content up there so nobody thinks I'm dead, which tends to happen when somebody has a channel and they disappear for a while. I thought would talk to you guys about cable ties. Or zip ties or tie wraps, as the brand name is by Thomas and Betts. I believe they invented them. But cable ties, what a versatile little invention. It's so simple, but you can use it for just about anything from hanging things to their purpose of tying bundles of cables. Sorry, to even handcuffs, and I've seen HVAC guys with the gigantic ones, and they use them to connect ductwork, the flex duct, I think. If I'm wrong, let me know on that, but they're so versatile, and I just was thinking the other day about how many different ways I've seen people cut these things, because if you don't use the right tool, they're pretty sharp when you cut them. So I've got these tools ranked from worst to first, in my humble opinion, of the best ways to cut zip ties. First one is going to be the dykes, just your standard dyke. You'll throw one on, you cut it, just a standard pair of non-flush cut dykes, and the little piece of tail that it leaves is lethal. If you're reaching into a ceiling or a rack or something like that, and somebody has cut a zip tie with a pair of dykes, I've been laid open personally by using dykes. Not the proper way to put cable ties in. It'll do in a pinch, but it's not really proper. The next is going to be the Sonota cable tie pliers, which you might be familiar with from one of my previous videos. So they've got a little set of teeth in there that you're supposed to use to grip it. Something might have been lost in translation, because I haven't figured out exactly the proper way to use these, but from what I can gather, you grip it with the teeth right at the end, and you use that as leverage, and you pull and tighten it, and then it's got a set of flush cut jaws, and it cuts it off nice and flush. No danger of goring anybody. It's not so bad when you're like in a ceiling or something like that, but where it really you get cut up pretty good is AV racks. If you're reaching in there and every zip tie in the thing has been cut off with dykes, you really know it. So that's how you use those. Now these are vintage. I just came across these the other day on eBay, and they intrigued me, so I bought them. It's got a gripper thing that puts tension on the tail of the zip tie and pulls it and tightens it, and then you hit this lever to cut it. I'm thinking these are somewhere in the 80s, because when I got into the business in 92, they were already on to the zip tie guns there. So that was early 90s, 92. So I figure these are around 80s, maybe 70s, who knows? If anybody knows, let me know. They are the Thomas and Betts Tie Wrap MT 185 FPA cable tie cutting pliers. And all you do there is you put the zip tie in that red area. It tightens them, and you can keep tightening it as much as you want, and then you just squeeze down and hit this lever, and it cuts it. It gets it real close. Not as bad as dykes. It's very short tail, so you probably won't get cut on it, but it doesn't get a true flush cut. and that's the vintage cable tie installation pliers. Then we've got this little jobby. I used to have one of these way back in the day. Somewhere it got lost. I finally found one on eBay that I got for a good price. I think it was 15 bucks, and it's just a little manual zip tie tensioner and cutoff tool. It works really well. The thing is with it, it doesn't cut off at a preset tension, so you know it's probably not good enough to be used for like a production zip tie line where you're cutting hundreds and maybe thousands of zip ties a day, you know, making machinery or in the aerospace industry or whatever. But all you do with this one is put, you know, you got your tail loose, and you just put it on there, squeeze it as tight as you want, and then just rotate it, and it cuts it off perfectly flush. It's a great, you know, cheap little zip tie cutter installation tool. Works great, no tail to cut you, and economically, you know, feasible for a lot of people. That works really well. That's the Thomas & Betts WT1. And so then now we're down to these two, which are the higher end of zip tie cutting. This one is the Thomas & Betts branded ERG 50. It's the head on here currently is for miniature zip ties all the way up to the standard size zip ties. Now you can squeeze these two buttons on the side and pull this entire head off, and then if you get the ERG 120 head, it's for the big boys like the HVAC ties and whatever, but I don't ever use those, so I don't need it. This one actually has a lot of features. It's got this wheel, you crank it in or out, and it'll let the handle rest further and further in if you've got smaller hands. It's got what's called high and low gear. I'm not sure what that is. I've forgotten over time, but and then one of the nicest features is the head will rotate 360, so you can get it in, dip more, you know, easily into some places. It's got a tensioning dial on it, and you know, you just got to kind of figure out what a good tension is for you. You know, you don't want to be cranking all the way in on fiber and Cat 5, Cat 6, any kind of network cabling. And that's the Tie Wrap ERG 50. Now these are both higher end. I mean, you know, I got these vintage ones for 20 bucks. I got this one for, the guy wanted 20, I talked him down to 15 bucks. Now these are up in the hundreds of range. I think this one's about $250 new. You know, if you work some deals on eBay, you can get it a lot cheaper, which I always do. And to me, the Cadillac, for my purposes, is this Hellermann Titan Evo 7. It may not be the top of the line cable tie installation gun, but it's up there. I bought it because I didn't really need it, but the deal I got on it was ridiculous. I mean, these things are $200 and $300 new. I worked a deal on eBay. So what it is this one's got a preset tension dial. You slide this over, and then you pick the tension you want and lock it in. Now, if it's in a production environment, the supervisor can come in and lock it into the tension so that the operator, you know, can't change the tension or whatever. I never use that feature, but this is a great gun. So what you do is you put the zip tie on, and we'll do the ERG 50 first. I've got it set at about a 4. So you put it on there, it pulls it tight, and then it cuts it at the preset tension. And it's always a perfectly flush cut. As long as the nose is making contact with the head of the zip tie. Some people pull it out and then they cut it and they wonder why they got a tail left. And then the Hellermann Titan is about the same. I just like the ergonomics of it better and the fit and finish a little better. I've got this set on a 6, which is going to pull a lot. And then it just cuts it off. I mean, you can set these guns to the highest tension they have, and if you've got a really bargain basement type zip tie, it won't cut it, it'll just stretch it until it breaks. So you've got to really find the right tension with that. Well, that's about it, guys. The different ways that you can cut zip ties. I mean, if you're in the business, if you're in the, the low volt business, or you're in the machine building business or the aerospace business, you're going to want to use the proper tools for the job. But that's not saying that a set of dikes won't get it done. It just leaves a nasty tail on the end unless you exclusively use flush cut dikes. They also make a zip tie removal tool, which is hilarious to me. I mean, it's made for going along a cable bundle and cutting the zip tie without cutting the wires inside the bundle. But if you're not an idiot, I mean, a set of dikes will do the job just fine. So, or let me know what you think. Anybody got any experience with any other kind of contraptions to do this job? Let me know. I appreciate everybody, as I said. The content of this video is formed by my experiences and my experiences alone. So, take it with a grain of salt. I hope everybody's staying safe out there. Have a good day.